looking like galvanizing its strength behind the River State governor, let me say, similar Fubara, you know, and the Truth and Reconciliation Committee that was set up by the president, I think on the 24th of December, that has a lot of members meeting in Abuja, and Fubara is in attendance. Other governors, Boriwori, the governor of Jigawa State, all of them, they are all in attendance. Do you think they can stabilize the situation in River State, knowing fully well that Wike is not a member of the APC? Dr. Piper, let me start from you.
Well, Fubara is on a mission to rescue his political soul. So he's in murky waters. And anything to save himself, Fubara will do that. Well, while Fubara is struggling to gain relevance in the APC, I very, very, very much doubt if he can withstand the structure that his godfather has already put in place in Rivers State. The Rivers politics is very dynamic. It's very different from every other state. And certain things worry me every time I think about the intervention of Mr. President. I will recall, I don't know if I'm right on this, that when Fubara defected from the PDP to the APC, I can't remember anywhere Mr. President congratulated him.
Was that before Hope Uzodinma, the governor of Imo State, took him to the president? I think that was the time. I'm not also very sure about that.
But it's on record, unless someone disproves it, that the president didn't make any pronouncement on the defection of Fubara to the APC. And if you listen again and you watch and you read underneath the the body language of Mr. President, his speech on Wike's birthday, he told Wike to be steadfast. He told Wike to ignore distractions. In other words, the president was actually speaking to Wike. What he was giving Wike was like a motivational speech and a presidential endorsement, for him. So if we read and we put the two together, I presume that Fubara has already committed political suicide. I don't think he will be able to withstand the storm. All he can do for now is maybe to fight against the impeachment, and if he can survive the impeachment, I think his relevance in 2027 would have been to a very large extent reduced.
But before I come to Peter, let me see, because let's argue on this line. Now we saw the NSA, the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, and some other APC prominent leaders in Rivers State. They went to Goni, but we saw them in alliance with Fubara. That's one. Then secondly, we also saw the secretary of the party saying that Fubara heads the political structure in APC in Rivers State. These are some of party holding him forth in at the national level.
Well, Fubara cannot head a structure that he didn't build. Let's just go a few years back. We'll be able to go a few years back and ask who was Sim Fubara a few years back. No one really knew him. Let's not forget that Fubara was a civil servant. He was, I think, a level 14 or level 16, accountant in the civil service, when his benefactor, his godfather, Wike, picked him up, just like the string of a puppet, and put him where he is. So I don't see how possible it is right now for Fubara to be claiming to head a structure that he never built. You can't be a landlord of a property you do not own. You know, he doesn't own the structure. The structure has been there, you know, decades before. So whatever Fubara is trying to do with the Minister of Works and other of his colleagues coming, is just window dressing. It's just trying to make people believe, hey, I'm still relevant. These guys are with me. But when it comes to the internal political mechanism of Rivers State, Fubara has lost it.
Okay, I'll come back to you on that, because it portrays to me that you support godfatherism in politics, but I'll come to you on that. Now, Fubara trying to realign himself with what he can get, the support he can get from the federal, because the assembly members have all defected to APC, and if you follow the APC line, is what they tell you to do, that they do not answer to your godfather, except otherwise we see things not going the way it ought to be. Do you think Fubara can survive?
Of course, Fubara will, not can, he will survive. Let me correct an impression here. I might be wrong. Most governors are defected from other parties to APC. I can't remember how many that President Tinubu congratulated. So Fubara is not an exception. And in politics, you could be nobody, but you become somebody one day. Former governor of Abia State, that Ojizo handed over to, he was a civil servant. Ojizo, he picked him, he made him a governor. After a fight broke out, he is executive governor. What he hijacked the structure. Those structures were Ojizo structure. He was a civil servant. He was never a local government chairman. He has done nothing in politics until he became a governor. So the issue here still remains that Fubara, like most of us know, he decided to appear as a weakling. He is not done on him as an executive governor of the state. And again, it would be wrong for us to create this notion that Tinubu is in support of Wike. Why do I say this? From what Wike is saying, Tinubu is aware of the agreement they reached. Before Fubara moves to the APC, also took him to Tinubu, to president. Why didn't you stop him from joining APC? Since that was part of the agreement. Is our president playing both ways? So it throws up more questions than answers. Fubara has his fellow governors intended with him. They will too. NSA has gone and told Fubara that the president is happy with you. Is NSA lying? So this River State politics is so complicated that nobody can say for certainty where Tinubu is standing, and that is why this problem will linger for a while. If President come and take a decisive stand, this problem will River State will go away. These peace religious committee they are setting up, for me, is not necessary. If President decides to take a stand in River State, but then he's playing both ways, and I tend to believe from some school of thought that said he's creating an alternative for himself. If I had allowed that impeachment to go on, there would have been no alternative to Wike. Wike would have been his all and all, but now he has an alternative in River State, whether I would like it or not.
If I can cut in here, you see, when you talk about godfatherism, yes, there are different types of godfathers. Okay. There are some godfathers who could chicken out in a battle. There are some who became accidental, and there are some who are die-hard godfathers.
Which one do you support?
I don't support the godfatherism or whatever, but I'm only saying it is what it is.
But there's godfatherism even inside church.
Everywhere. There is God and there is the Father. Yes. So any politician who has accepted a human being to be his God, okay, so also to be his father. Doctor, I see Wike as the kind of godfather of Lamidi Adedibu. If you know the politics of Oyo State very well, it took the death of Lamidi Adedibu
for peace to come to Oyo State.
Yes, for Oyo State politics to go back to default setting. Lamidi Adedibu was a godfather where he decided whatever will happen.
Are you in support of that?
No, I say I'm not in support, but I'm saying it is what it is. This is the way politics is being played in Nigeria. You see, we can be as idealistic as we want. We can say, oh, this is the ideal way it's supposed to. The Fubara we are talking about today, you came in on the shoulders of a godfather. You rode on the back of a tiger. And now you are going to tell us, hey, the tiger wants to eat me. The tiger, come help me, come save me from the tiger. You rode on the back of the tiger.
Governor Obaseki came on the back of Oshomole.
Oshomole is a different type of godfather.
So, Obasani, Kaduna State, came on the back of El-Rufai. I can go on and mention.
That's what I'm telling you. We need to start categorizing godfathers.
So why is that of River State different?
You know, okay, you just use the word different. So let us quote the president. During the campaign, he told us that there's going to be, I'm talking about a prophetic statement made by Tinubu. He said there was going to be a town hall that will be different from Bagablu, Bugabla, and Bulaba. So we've seen the Bagablu, we've seen the Bugabla, and this is the Bulaba. So there are different types of godfathers. So if you're dealing with a godfather, ask yourself, what type of godfather is this? Wiki is not the type of godfather that will let you do what you want to do and get away with it. So I believe that Fubara misjudged he made a personality of who Wike is. He thought that if he does a little bit of gara Wike will chicken out, and I think he has made a mistake.
I think we are giving Wike too much credit here. You mentioned about Obasani and El-Rufai. Why do you think Obasani won the battle? Presidency with him. Remove presidency from Wike back. What will happen? Wike is not that there is not that James that will ascribe to him. All he is doing today, because he has the backing of number one. If Wike doesn't have Tinubu's backing, do you think this fight will go on? Do you think if El-Rufai was in the same boat with Tinubu, do you think Sani would have won that fight? No, it's not about all these politicians. They have to have nonsense in their cupboard. You know, EFCC invited those rubbish guys from House of Assembly to town. What did he do? I remember when my former boss he had issue with his governor in Enugu State. The house was divided into two. What did the governor do? He ran to Obasanjo, Chimaka Dramani, and pitched with him. The guys that were with Chimaka Dramani, with Jim Obodo, they said the campaign one after the other. Because he got the power of presidency. Remove Tinubu from this fight for Wike. Wike is like every other political party, every other politician. To me, a true godfather is one that will install somebody behind the scene, control the person. Somebody installed, you don't even control. What kind of godfather are you? Look at Tinubu. I've said this. If they want to do, they should go and bet Tinubu to give him his notebooks for them to study. Everyone wants to beat Tinubu, they don't want to go and learn from him.
But if we ask ourselves one question, they keep talking about agreements. There was an agreement between Wike and Fubara. What is the agreement? What's the context?
There's a statement that Fubara made. He said, I will not give 35% of the IGR to anybody in this town, insinuating that probably that's part of the agreement. I also read in some portion where somebody wrote the agreement. I don't know if it's stemmed from the Wike side, that number one, he's not going to run for a third term. Number two, the secretary to the state government was going to come from Wike and some other ones. Now, as we see it, should we or should anybody agree to those kind of things?
Well, that's why I say if you've already made the mistake to go into an agreement with the devil, and you knew you were signing an agreement with Satan, the devil, and you signed that agreement, and after signing the agreement, you said, I know I signed an agreement with the devil. Oh, please, Lord Jesus, can you come help me to nullify the agreement we signed? That's why Wike kept on singing. Agreement is agreement, yo. Wike is not crazy. He's telling you had an agreement. So if Fubara is the saint he claims to be, let him come clean. Let Fubara come out and tell all of us, this is the agreement. So that the Rivers people can fight for themselves.
Does the state belong to Wike?
It doesn't belong to Fubara as well. It doesn't belong to any of them.
As an elected governor of the state, chosen to administer the state, don't you think he should be allowed?
I want to change the word elected to selected.
Who was not selected?
Good. So now that brings us back to the point that we are not running a democracy. So in an ideal democracy, it is the people that makes the decision. So when the people make the decision to choose who they want from the internal democracy of the party. But you see, I am not saying I support Godfatherism, but like I told you,
Or Wike, do you support Wike? In all his rantings and going to campaign from door to door, nobody would have done that to Wike if he's governor of Rivers State.
Absolutely.
And nobody did it to him. From one local government to the other, he's
campaigning everywhere, from one chieftaincy, from one royal father to the other. This is why I say that, we can analyze this from now forever. We are not running a proper democracy.
We're running a civil rule.
This is a civil rule. Until we begin a democracy, the people themselves will be the one to choose. All the governors today were selected by certain individuals, and they had a contractual agreement with those people who selected them. So after they've done the selection, then they just bring the names of these people and they tell the general public, go choose between this, that. We have cried for electoral reforms, we didn't get it. We have cried that this country needs to have independent candidates. They refuse to put it in the electoral system. If you want to be a governor, or you're the most reliable person in a community and everyone knows you and everyone trusts you to handle this, and the political party refuse to field you and you are the most competent, you wouldn't get that position. So I am sick and tired of hearing politicians who have signed agreements, who have gone into negotiations with certain people. We were not there when the agreement was signed, so why drag the Rivers people into it?
But I think Fubara should be allowed to finish his course. What was it called? Wike did his own and left. He too had godfathers. Wike had godfathers. He was handed over to Amechi. Amechi made him, Odili made him the local government chairman. Mr. and Mrs. Jonathan, the former president of First Lady, they gave him a ministerial slot. They danced on the water with Amechi, and they allowed him. And now he's even kind of throwing jabs back to them. So now, if he too had made a godfather and he felt it's wrong what he did, he should allow him to finish.
See,
that's a morality. You're right.
Everything you said is right, but this is where we are here now. Let's not talk about what should be, what have been, that this should be elected. Wike told us that he made a mistake by choosing Fubara. It's not our fault that he made a mistake. He actually did a mistake. And when you're talking about agreement, see, sometimes when you are bossed to a wall, this man needs to come back. You are aware that this thing I'm signing is not binding. And somebody have a gun on your head to sign, you say your life out. I think it's not binding.
A gun on his head? Politics.
That kind of guns. That is it. You need to sign to get back to office. Now he's in office. He is the executive governor of the Rivers State.
All right, we can't take that. Fubara is fighting for his life. We hope he survives it. But it's also a deterrent for so many people that are coming out. But we know when you want power, you want to stay with everything that is being said.